Well, this week's Manshake Gutsiest Player of the Week award goes to Storm and Maroon superstar Xavier Coates. Melbourne's mighty winger backed up from Origin, bagging a double and ripping in against the Seagulls. Billy, what an effort for him and all the other Origin stars who backed up this weekend.
Yeah, it's been a big week for Xavier. He had a bit of misfortune last year. He did his ankle in Origin 1, missed out on Origin 2 and 3, and then we got recalled into the side, and yeah, it's been a big few days. Ran for over 200 metres, so did all the hard work for the Melbourne Storm last night also. Picked up a couple of tries and a bit of Dallin Watini-Zelezniak about him.
That was a good one, that last one.
Yeah.
Rick James.
With the leg spread in the air.
I reckon if he did grow the hair, he might have those locks as well.
Yep, but the final score in that one, 24-16, going Melbourne's way. What did you make of this game overall? Because it was an interesting start. It didn't feel like Melbourne were exactly on top early on.
I thought Manly were on, to be honest. In the first half, they were really physical. They were dominating field position, and Melbourne were a little bit clunky with the football. No Cameron Munster. Jonah Pezzett did a great job, scores a try here, but the second half, and this was the play here. I think this one really changed the game. And Big Nelson Asafa-Solomona went out onto the edge with no Eli Katoa. But yeah, Melbourne just ran away with it in the end on the scoreboard. But it was quite an even contest, especially for 3/4 of the game.
He had an earlier run too. I think it was early in the second half where he just come in, knocked a few blokes over and got a penalty. And I think that penalty went down and sort of changed the way the game was looking. But
it was a Melbourne Storm performance, similar to how Penrith beat the Knights. They just backed their defence, gave the opposition nothing. Well, Manly scored one try, it was off a kick. That's how well they defended.
Well, if Craig's going to be happy about one thing, it'll be the defence. And you mentioned that there was only one try scored. It was very early in the game off a Daly Cherry Evans kick. So if you're going to be happy about one thing, it's about your defence.
I'll tell you what else I reckon Manly will be happy with. Ruben Garrick at fullback. I thought he was fantastic for them. And obviously, you know, fullbacks, you want them scoring tries, but defensively, I thought he was really on song for Manly. And watching them early, he had a lot to do with how they were working. And that big shot on Coates was fantastic, but he was safe under the high ball. He got involved when he needs to be. And he's actually put on a little bit of size this season, but maintained his speed. So I think he's a real asset to them, and with Tom Trbojevic out for the entire season, you can see that he's going to be very valuable for them at fullback. And I was really impressed with his performance, and obviously Daly Cherry Evans' kicking game was what started them on the front foot, Manly.
What do you reckon now, Manly no Turbo?
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you. Are they a chance at the finals?
No.
Now that they have no Turbo, no finals? Who would you like to see? Because obviously they are now applying to have some salary cap exemption because Roger is not available.
Okay.
Because of his contract with Rugby Union over in New Zealand. So
can he ask to walk out?
He didn't need contract.
Can he ask to walk out?
We'll see how that plays out.
He didn't make the All Blacks squad. That's the big thing for the World Cup. That's been all the chatter around Roger. He went over there to play in the World Cup for the All Blacks. He didn't make the squad. So you think he'd be coming back to rugby league? Because Anthony
Seibold was asked about Roger in the press conference last night, and he said Roger is actually not available.
Well, we've seen Turbo when he's out, and when he comes back, what he brings to the team. You know, they were treading water, and then they went down to Canberra, played Canberra when...
Just before game
300.
Yeah, just before the
team was He's worth upwards of 16, 20 points. So without him, they won't make the 8. It must be
the difference.
It must be so hard to watch your star player play rep footy and get season-ending injury.
Do you think that's a worry for Manly now, just considering the injuries that he has had in his career?
Well, yeah, he's had some. Like, this is his second pack. I spoke to him after the game. He's on the other side. He's had all those hamstring problems. So yeah, it's a worry for Turbo. But he's such a gifted athlete. He'll be back better than ever.
Bill, who do you think could be a good fit for the Seagulls if they were to sign another fullback?
I think they'll go Ruben Garrick. I think they'll stick with Ruben. I thought he did a great job a couple of years ago when Tom was out, and he can really settle into that position now. They've got a few outside backs coming back. I think Brad Parker comes back next week. Saab will be available. So they can certainly fill those outside backs, but they've just got to work out a game plan that suits Ruben, a game plan that suits the strength of their teams, and they've got some strike centres, Olakuatu on that right edge, so there's certainly points in them. They've just got to go and make it happen and find a way to get it done.
And
The thing
Anthony,
is, if you found another fullback, it allows Garrick, who's a quality player, to be back in his normal position, whether it's centre or wing. So you sort of lose.
There's
You
no
lose
fullbacks out there.
Well, Dane Laurie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a good point. Yeah, but would they release him, the Tigers?
Well, he's
He
not
should
playing.
just ask
He's
him.
not playing.
Just chuck a tantrum. And
Don't
just, what are you doing there? Just get your dummy, throw it.
Say, I'm not
go, I'm
returning.
out. I'm out.
well, Anthony
go
Seibold did
somewhere
say
else.
they'd go like for like. Not necessarily a fullback, but definitely an outside back. So that's what he
6'4"
spoke about.
blonde person.
Do you think, just off topic a little bit, do you think it's the game as well? Like we're talking about players just saying, I'm not happy here, I want out. And we're sort of saying that that's not the right thing to do. But the game is allowing that to happen. You look at the Gold Coast Titans.
Yeah, but it's both
They said
ways
we're
too.
not happy with our coach, so you've got to go. You look at Jason Rolls at the Roosters. This is not just a player thing. This is the whole game.
But they do it. Clubs do it to players too.
Yeah.
They just
So
resell
it
them.
happens both
But,
ways.
we'll obviously talk about the Ben Hunt thing later. But if you break a contract for whatever reason, you should go into an internal draft. There's no way Ben Hunt should be able to go to Brisbane. He should be going to the Tigers or one of the struggling.
But should that happen to the clubs when you sack your coach? You go into a draft and you get what you're given.
So that's it. It was
can't
with the
have it both
Titans. It was
ways.
there was a different situation. I read an article and they were saying that there were clauses in Holbrook's contract that at certain points of the season he had to have the team in the top 8, and those
Would you
clauses.
call that a KPI?
A KPI. So those clauses weren't met. So that then enabled them to void the contract.
He was still blindsided by it, though.
What about
because of the time
Jason
frame.
Rolls? Do you have a clause?
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into this one. 48 to 20 in the end for the Parramatta Eels over the Dolphins. That first half performance from Parramatta, 42 points in the first 40 minutes. What an almighty start it was.
In particular, their right side, the combination Moses, Cartwright and Will Penasuni absolutely destroyed them. Will Penasuni's the best game I've seen him play. They're a serious team, Parramatta. They're a great attacking team. I love the way they play. Jermaine Hopgood, absolutely sensational in the middle of the field. And Gutho. Gutho's Gutho. He's the king.
What about Braden McGrady?
Ewans.
On debut? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
on debut, yeah, first touch, 3 minutes into the game, he scores a try, thinking, how good's this day going to be?
Yeah.
And the next 42 points come in.
He had another opportunity not long after that one,
Yeah,
too.
he did. But they just used the footy well, didn't they? Obviously, they defended great, but they used the footy. They were dangerous. Moses was in everything. Hopgood was good as well. So they're a good team. They started the season 4 from their first 5 games. Now they've won 5 straight. They found themselves in the top 8. They got the bye this week. What a time to get the bye after 5 consecutive wins.
So, you mentioned that 5th consecutive win. Round 11, they were sitting in 14th, and now at the moment they're sitting 5th on the ladder. Are they the real deal, do we think, this year?
I think we all said that they were going to be in our top 8 come the end of the year, and they can just string together some good performances. They've got people coming back from injury. I think Bryce Cartwright has gone back to that purple patch of form he had when he was first at the Panthers. He's playing some really great footy, and their big-name players are really stepping up to the plate. Obviously, Regan Campbell-Gillard went off with a bit of a shoulder concern, but Brad Arthur said he's all right, and Junior Barlow is back for them, and yeah, they've got some really good talent coming through. I also agree Jermaine Hopgood has been a fantastic asset for them this year.
Well, we talk about big-name players, and a big-name player left their club last year in Reid Marnie. And Josh Hodgson, he's actually just had surgery, I believe. So Brendan Hands has done a fantastic job filling in for both of those guys.
I agree.
And he gets a real opportunity now to make that number 9 his own.
But also, too, they were still without Dylan Brown as well.
Do you know when that's going to happen?
There's no date. There's no date set on it yet on when he can return. But they've had Dejan Arce filling in there.
He's been good too.
He's a really good player. He's clever.
What do you make of the Eels this season and the way that they've been able to sort of turn it around?
I think the coach has done a great job. Early on, you could really panic. They lost a lot of players. There was a Mitchell Moses, the saga with his contract, and that took a lot of attention. But I think all through that, he held his nerve well, and they're just, I think it's paying them back now. They've got the fullback's killing it, Gutho.
Yeah.
By the times when a few of these blokes have been out, whether they've been winning games, losing games, whatever, his attitude and his input into the game hasn't changed one bit. So He's been awesome.
And he's all effort, isn't he, Brad? Like, everything he does, he puts effort into it. I think that's why everyone at the club follows him, and they just love him.
He's so entertaining to watch when you keep an eye on him for majority of the game. He's here, there, everywhere. He just never stops.
Some players look effortless when they run, like Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow. Clint Gutherson, you can tell he's trying. Every stride.
What a moment it was that will go down in Rugby League history. The drought was over 116 NRL games and you finally got a try. Alex Twal, welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. Now take us back into that moment, because everyone loved it. Even you could see the face of the referee. He was smiling. The whole crowd erupted. What a moment it was.
Yeah, no, it was obviously, it was a very good moment, obviously, in the game. But, you know, it's been a long time, so good to get the monkey off the back, I guess. And, but, you know, we didn't come over the 2 points, so it was disappointing as well.
Do you reckon Clem left it for you, or do you reckon he just wasn't good enough to get it? What did he say?
He said he left it for me, so I just gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I said, yeah, I love you, mate, and thanks for leaving it for me.
He would have taken it if he could, I reckon.
Is there like a part of you that's disappointed you don't have to do the nudie run this year on Mad Monday?
I'll still do it because it's tradition. It's become a tradition, you know, so 7 years in a row, so yeah, it'd be rude not to, I guess.
Is there a weight off your shoulders? And like, was it building up? The noise around it was so loud.
Yeah, I guess it is a weight off the shoulders. I can go to dinner with the missus now and not get gizzled for not scoring a try. So, yeah, I guess, yeah, it'd be a weird feeling coming into training tomorrow, so see how we go.
Now, over the last couple of years, it hasn't looked like you're going to score a try, to be honest. Like, you've done a different job to a lot of people, but you have just ran the ball. This year I've noticed there's been a change. Has Benji changed the way that, you know, you through the middle, you've used footwork, you're passing the ball a little bit more? Have things changed?
Yeah, I think so. You know, Benji and Sheensy and Robbie, they've done a tremendous job in just allowing the players to back themselves and back their natural ability. And I think, you know, you've seen it with a lot of everyone in our team, and everyone's sort of playing the style that suits them. And yeah, a lot of credit to them for them little things. But yeah, we still obviously got a long way to go to get to where we want to be.
Well, that was shown a couple of weeks ago against the Cowboys. Put on 66 points against them. You're playing them next week, obviously coming off the bye this weekend. You got the Cowboys again. Is there a feel around the place that you can do that and replicate that performance?
Look, I think it's obviously a big ask. You know, you don't score 66 points every week, and I think for us this week it's just getting back to playing some good footy, because I think, you know, the past fortnight of footy that we've played, we haven't been too crash hot. So for us, it's about having a good training week this week and then making sure that we turn things around on Saturday. You know, Cowboys on the opposite end, they've been playing some good footy over the past month. So, you know, give ourselves every chance to win the game, I guess.
Some of the young players this year, Jermaine Buller, young winger, Junior, Tommy Talau, these young players. Tell us about them.
Yeah, no, they've been awesome, mate. I think, you know, even Jermaine Buller especially, you know, he's probably been our best player the past month or so. And, you know, I can't credit him enough, mate. He's such a good kid off the field. And, you know, Junior Tupu as well, you know, he's such a young kid and, you know, so softly spoken. And, mate, you know, I guess, you know, with where we're at the moment, to see some of them young boys playing the footy that they're playing, you know, it's a credit to the club and the coaching staff, and credit to them boys as well.
On the other hand, your halfback, Luke Brooks, says he's going to leave at the end of the season. We've just been talking about Ben Hunt a little bit. What's it like, the reaction of players when, you know, one of their leading players comes in and says, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore?
Yeah, it's obviously, you know, tough to hear that sort of stuff, but, you know, I've played all my career with Brooks here, so I hope that he stays. But, yeah, look, it's not looking likely at the moment, but until a call's made, we just keep going about business and, you know, hopefully he stays. You know, he's one of my best mates, so we'll see how we go.
We've seen in the last few years a lot of emergence of Lebanese players in the game. You've represented Lebanon. Do you feel proud to be, you know, that player that young Lebanese players can look up to? Yeah,
of course. You know, grew up in Maryland. You know, there's a lot of Lebanese out there, and then now moved here to Greenacre, where there's a lot of Lebanese. And, you know, when you walk the streets and stuff, you know, you feel a sense of pride there, because you know how much, you know, young Lebanese kids look up to you and stuff like that. And there's obviously only a niche of us in the NRL. And that's growing, obviously. But, yeah, obviously very proud to be...
Yeah, someone who we haven't been able to see in action much this year, Adam Dewey. How's he tracking from his injury? I know you're quite close with him.
Yeah, he's one of my best mates as well. you know, he's obviously taken it, you know, quite well. You know, it's obviously he's done a couple of them now, and you know, sort of knows what to expect. And you know, I can't, you know, credit him enough as well. He's kept such a positive attitude in and around the joint, and yeah, I'm sure he'll be back bigger and better.
Adam Dewey, he scored a try in the World Cup that we played in, and he got called back. But the one thing you talk about the Lebanese players is the thing they all play with is so much heart. And in that 2017, Alex Twal against Tonga in the quarter final.
Well, people at home
played 80 minutes.
No, you coached Lebanon.
Well, I coached him in 2017, and we went and played in a quarter final against Tonga, who ended up beating, I think, New Zealand, and got to the semis. And Alex Twal actually played a full 80 minutes in the front row, and that was against Taumalolo, Fafita. You know, it was a huge side. So the one thing they do that, not just the players themselves, but just the community, they're just such full of heart. And you just saw it, I think, again in the World Cup just recently. You know, they went into quarterfinals, you know, without Adam Dewey and without a lot of their stars because Alex didn't play because some head knocks leading in, and then Alex Dewey got suspended. So they go hard. You know, they go hard, and it's a great area. Rugby league around that area is fantastic, so exciting.
I remember in that 2017 World Cup, actually, every game that we played, and we played Lebanon, we would actually dive into their culture. Yeah. And Mel Meninga, we had this night, and we had Josh Mansour in our squad as well. So the noise at some of the dinner parties and barbecues is incredible. The drums, do you get around that?
Yeah, Freddie will tell you in 2017, mate, it was a different Lebanese restaurant every night, and
we're stopping off at lunches on the way to training, and going into a restaurant to do a do, and the drums would be out.
Yeah, it was crazy. Even walking into the game, just drums everywhere. You know, they get behind their people, and you know, like I said, there's only a niche of us playing in the NRL, so you know they're very proud.
All right, well, great to have you on, and you're going to be sticking around because you're on a bit of a red-hot run at the moment, so we thought we'd put you into Freddie's pass-off. Do you reckon you'll nail it?
We'll give it a go.
Yeah, all right.
I've seen Alex score one try. I don't know if I've seen him pass the football.
We'll let him have a practice in the ad break. Well, the Warriors, they ran rampant at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong on Friday night, 48-18 over the Dragons, and disappointed Dragons fans started leaving the stadium quite early, in fact, in the second half. They knew that their side wasn't going to be able to take this win, but the Warriors, they've been impressive. What they've been able to do this season has been, especially under their new coach, Andrew Webster. All the players said post-match that he's helped revitalise the team. They're as close as ever, and you can see it on the footy field.
Yeah, they're playing for each other. They're playing for the coach. I love their style of play. No one saw this coming. No one thought that the Warriors would be in the top four this far out from the semis, but I've got to say, congratulations to everyone. And it's great for the game. We need the Warriors strong in the NRL. He's a
Jackson
killing
Ford, ex-Dragon.
They're just a team, aren't they? Fanua Blake is incredible. He's a front rower. He does all that work in the middle that front rowers do, but he gets out on an edge and he's got some great skill about his game, and they play footy. Sean Johnson, he's playing as good as I've ever seen him play. He's got great touch. He's controlling the game, and they're a real team.
Their passing game is really crisp. All their passes hit the mark. It's all there. You see other clubs and passes are here, there, and the timing's not there. They must work a lot on their fundamentals and their catch and pass because, geez, they're playing well.
Well, to get your passes on the mark, everyone's got to understand what their role is.
All the passes.
They're all in position early, and the timing's good, and that helps with your passing. They're just humming at the moment.
This is career best form for Sean, and that's saying something. He got a golden boot whenever it was, 10 years ago when he was on fire. He's playing tough.
2011, I think, so 12 years.
He's playing tough. He knows his job. He's leading from the front, and they're all getting on the back of him. Support play.
Well,
he looks happy.
He's a different player now, isn't he? He was so sharp and fast and brilliant back in his early days, whereas now he's that game manager. He's always in the game, and he's looking to attack the game in different ways that he did when he first came on the scene.
And is it just so interesting? He talks about how happy he is. In commentary on Friday night, Paul Gallen was saying that his time at the I know you were laughing during this, but his time at the Sharks, he wasn't as happy as he could have been. He was away from family.
Away from family and stuff, yeah.
And now it just shows.
Settled. You get to a stage of your career, he's got a young family, and your priorities are. You know your priorities and you know your focus is there. When you're a young bloke, you can be a bit of a rat. but he's got it going on. Oh, you sure can.
The Warriors are playing 3 of the next 4 games at home, and I think it's nearly sold out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
They got South
Mount
next week,
Smart.
haven't they?
Yeah,
They got,
so
what a game
there's going to be
they've
some great scenes over there in New Zealand.
What about the Dragons? Do you think the situation involving Ben Hunt and everything that had unfolded that week took a toll on them as a team overall?
I think it's probably had something to do with it, yeah.
For sure, but outplayed. I think it gets to a stage in the game where, you know, the other team's dominating you and asking you questions, and that's when it really hurts, when there's sort of cracks in the place. But you've got to remember, they packed out Cogger a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, whatever happens with Ben Hunt, I think they need to do it quickly and just move on.
Because you were obviously with him for in Queensland camp when it was all sort of unfolding, and it probably wouldn't have been as big in Queensland in terms of
Well, you wouldn't have known.
paper coverage.
He's very professional, Ben, and he's an experienced player. I never spoke to him about it. I never spoke to him before the game about it, and I didn't feel I needed to. If I felt I needed to, I would have spoken to him, but it didn't affect his preparation. It didn't affect our preparation. Well, when you go into those sort of environments, everyone's carrying their own personal baggage with them. So this was just more of a public baggage that Ben was dealing with. I thought he handled it really well. So, yeah, like I said, it didn't affect anyone's preparation.
We spoke about it early in the show. You know, if he wants to go, he can go. There's no loyalty from the club to the players. You know, the club, they want to get rid of a player, they just risk-roll him. I just find it really difficult that he's going into a team that's coming second on the ladder, and he's going to go into a team. I looked this morning, out of the 17 that's playing today, there is 15 Origin or international players or former Origin players in their starting 17. Then you're going to add another guy who's a champion player into this side. I just find it.
And do you see it unfair to the clubs that are struggling to?
Well, Appy Coruscant's broke his jaw at the Tigers, so they haven't got a dummy half. The Knights have lost their starting dummy half in Jaden Brayley. I just think if someone decides to break their contract, they've got to go into some sort of draft. I just find it really difficult to understand how he can go into a team which is a red-hot chance of winning the competition. Now, with him going there, I think they win. I think they win
the pro rata value system has got to... Something's got to happen there, because you go to a club 3 rounds out from the finals and you might be $1 million player going there on 180 grand. So that pro rata, like we saw Tavita Pangai go to the Panthers last year.
That happened, yeah. Before
so this has been happening a lot. This isn't just anything new. And Josh Kerr went to the Dolphins last week. He played on the weekend.
I just find it difficult. You got an Australian representative, an out-and-out champion player, going to a team which is full of champions.
Well, there has to be room in the cap. So if it's full of champions, they're all getting paid less than what their value is.
Here's the next thing, is the salary cap isn't working because we have third-party deals which aren't transparent. And you have the wealthier clubs, which, you know, good luck to them.
Aren't third parties transparent? I thought they were.
No one knows what they are.
Ooh.
So then you got clubs
I think they know.
Yeah, but the public don't know.
All players have got to disclose every payment to them through the NRL. Every payment,
but
whether they get them on their own or whether it comes through the club.
I think it should be out in the public. So, you know, there's certain clubs... Well, I know the Knights haven't got a third-party deal. There is no third-party deal.
Yeah, but that's their fault.
I know it's their fault, but what I'm saying is people in the public...
Bigger clubs can get more.
...want to know how this is going to happen, where Ben Hunt is going to go from the Dragons into a team which is full of superstars.
Well, that's where you need you need a window in the middle where you can do that if you're not happy with the club or the club's not happy with you.
Well, then do we have to go into a draft system?
Well, yeah, but there's just an exchange window in the middle of the season. You know, whether, you know, did it all come through Ben because of Anthony Griffin? Is that where the disgruntledness has come from?
Well, that's the sounds of it.
Oh, well, maybe you might have missed that window. So, you know, I think, you know, if you do it in the middle, I think it sort of works for everyone. It's getting to the stage where people leaving clubs and coaches being sacked is all pretty common. I think players are all used to it these days.
Do you think it's fair he's going to Brisbane?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think also the Tavita Pangai thing, it's the same. I think, you know, once you actually even start the season, half your money's already paid. So really, you know, anyone that leaves any part during the season, it's not fair what the other club gets them for. And, you know, it's the same too if someone gets pushed out of a club for poor behaviour or different things as well. So, you know, that whole system could be looked at now. And I think, you know, Ben Hunt's a high-profile person, so I think something will be done about it.
And if he is to join the Broncos, they won't be paying for a lot of his contract because, as you mentioned, majority of it has been
How many payments
paid
did we
out.
say? Is there
So there's
4
12.
left?
There's 12 payments in the year, and there's 3.5 left. So I think there will be a lot more unfolding in this Ben Hunt situation in the coming days when he meets with Dragons officials. But we've got plenty more coming your way here on the Sunday Footy Show.